Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with me as your host, Derek Wingo, where we're bringing Gator Nation closer to their athletes through weekly deep dives and into player stories with exclusive behind-the-scenes access. Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with your host, Derek Wingo, brought to you by Florida Victorious. I'm super excited for episode 2. Later on in the show, we're going to bring Shemar James, but without Florida Victorious, we wouldn't be able to make things like that happen. Florida Victorious is a proud fan club that has memberships from $15 to $250 a month that is able to help us athletes have a voice and be able to do things like this, which is pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. Later on, we're going to have Shemar on the show, but for now, we're going to get into some cool things and get to talk about our future athletes. Some of the guys that we've had come on the team this past fall, right? This past summer to get to train with us. And I know you guys are excited to hear a little bit about them and what they're going to be able to provide for us as a team. And then a little bit about kind of what they are as just a person. So I'm excited to talk about, I'm going to start off first with Aaron Childs and Miles Graham. I know you guys are super excited about those two. Linebackers played in the UA All-American game down in Orlando. Me being a linebacker, I get to spend a lot of time with these two, being in the film room, out on the field, and I don't even have words for it sometimes. I'm excited. When you look at a guy like Aaron Childs, someone who is big, he's fast, he's just like a ball hawk, right? Likes to be around the ball and make those big time plays. And then Miles, a guy who's super speedy, and then it's just as aggressive, as a sponge, getting in the film room and learning everything. Those two guys, I think, are going to be huge for us in the future. Definitely, especially even in this season, getting some playing time and be able to get out there on the field. And, I can't even express it enough how those two guys are going to be some animals for the future Gators. Another one we talk about is LJ McCray, right? A guy who comes in with huge size, being able to be coached by, Mike Peterson. You guys know what he's done here at the University of Florida at the next level. Someone who was listed as a preseason All-American, was top rated in his class as well. A guy who's getting playing time as well earlier in this season and is going to keep continuously doing that each week in and week out. Two other huge ones, Tank Hawkins and Aiden Mizell. So if you guys don't realize, Tank Hawkins and Aiden Mizell on the GPS that we wear runs 23 miles an hour. I don't know if you realize how fast that is. It's faster than a school zone, but 23 miles an hour. I don't know a person that you can line up next to you and wouldn't just run by. So as a receiver, I mean that is just huge. Just being able to create that separation, and people just don't realize how fast that actually is. And then the one that you've all been waiting for, DJ Lagway, right? You guys have got to see him early this season. Top rated quarterback in his class. I know everyone saw the Gatorade commercial. I mean, how cool was that? Getting to see right before the Super Bowl, the Gatorade commercial of all the promo stuff that he's able to do. But we know when you talk about DJ, a guy who has the huge arm talent, right? Huge arm talent. I think it's great for him, be in the room with Graham Mertz as well. Graham, this detail-oriented guy who does everything the right way, and does beyond that. So for a younger guy like DJ to come in and be able to learn from Graham and just, soak up everything, right? Soak up not only just the experience, but, how to play the game the right way. I think that's just amazing. Doing all the little details in the meeting room, on the field, the post-practice, taking care of your body, all those things. So I'm excited to, DJ learning all those things. And then you guys are already seeing it, right? Being on the field and him showcasing his talent and not just his arm strength, really his athletic ability, being able to just extend plays and do all those things to make those big time plays. So I'm super excited for those just couple athletes and guys that we've had come into this program recently in this offseason. And, obviously there's going to be a ton more that is added in the future, and it goes to building that. Now, these freshmen have had the opportunity to be a part of, obviously now, a full fall camp, right? Going through what it is like. We like to call it the 30 days of hell, because those 30 days, I don't think people realize what that is. The 30 days of hell is basically, where we're in the building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day. And that's when you really realize, how much you love the game, love the grind, love the process, everything that goes into it. And it's just, we go from meetings to lifts to practice, then to more meetings to go over practice. and then we'll do another workout and then a walkthrough later on. So, the attention to detail and everything we do is so critical, and the importance of those 30 days right before the season starts. And I think that's a big change for, some of these younger guys that are getting in and being able to experience that for the first time. You're coming out of high school and, you're getting used to just, going to classes and stuff like that and just going to practice and going home, right? And now you're coming to the collegiate level, understanding the importance and what it really takes to be a college athlete. And I think that was pretty cool. Some of the cool stuff that we actually do as well, and it's not all terrible, right? It's not all day long of just like killing your body, and obviously it's the mental fatigue. But, it makes it fun out of it, right? It makes you understand how much you really love the game, how much you're bought into the journey and the process. But some of the cool things we actually get to do during this, camp session of like the 30 days is we do things like the rookie skit, right? Where guys get to, laugh a little bit and, dress up as some of the coaches and, kind of make a joke out of them. And some of the older guys get a crack at it because they've, been there for longer and understand it. We get to do laser tag in the indoor. That's, pretty competitive. You see a bunch of guys, any athlete that plays other games is super competitive. We also do getting to know your teammate, which I think that this is something that's actually super important. And we realize that, there's 120 guys on all these different college teams, right? But I promise you, probably at any school in the country, if you had any new person walk into that facility and that was around you guys, you would know immediately. And now why I say that is because you're around these 120 guys and coaches all day, every day. So the second there's somebody new in this facility, you know immediately, right? So getting to know your teammate is, we actually do quizzes and stuff like that where basically is every single person on the team, first name, last name, and where they're from. And that goes into, why you're going through that camp process, just, understanding and knowing your teammate and knowing them on a deeper level. And when you're out in the field, that helps you in tremendous ways. Right? Because it's like, I want to be out in the field with someone that I know, that I care about, that I know their backstory about, what they came from. And it just makes it more meaningful for you as well. And the other thing people don't actually realize too, at the beginning of fall camp, we actually have to stay in dorms. So this past year, we stayed in the dorms for 14 days. So it's almost like, it's funny, it's almost like military camp, right? We get to, you get a roommate, you get to stay with them, and then you're in the facility and out the facility, back to the dorms. You have bed checks. So it's this whole super cool process, and that's part of college football, right? Everyone does it around the country, and it's just how well you can create that bond, right? That bond and that chemistry with those group of guys to be able to go out and play on the field and have that better connection. Another thing that we do during camp, and this is kind of something that we do a little bit throughout the entire year, but I think camp is when it really hits you hard, is when we had these speakers come in. So I have some of the guys that we came in and had talk to us. We had Inky Johnson, everybody knows who that is. Patrick Young, right? We had Mike P. who spoke to us. Billy Donovan, right? The coach of the back-to-back national championship in the glory days of the 2000. We have military personnel who comes in and talks about, their group and how much grit and passion you have to have for what you're doing. And then we also have like financial advisors, people who able to help us, guide us in the right direction and be able to make sure that we're financially stable during all this process, through all the crazy schedules and all the stuff we kind of have. Understand that you have a firm foundation of kind of what you're doing. And then the biggest one that I think that especially hits home for me is just having past Gators, right? Past Gators come on the show or come talk to the team. And it means so much more. We have guys like Brandon Spikes, right, sit up in front of the team and talk about, the legacy and the tradition and all these different things. And, when you see him speak, right, when you see Brandon Spikes talk about what it meant to be a Florida Gator and what it meant to be a part of something bigger than himself, you understand how much he really cares. And that hits home for a lot of guys when you're sitting in that room and you're taking notes. It means a lot. And you have to really care about not only this program, about what you're doing, about your last name, about the logo, and, having guys like that during camp when you're mentally exhausted, you're fatigued, you're physically exhausted, all these different things. And then, that just takes you back to that moment of understanding, what it really means. So during camp, through all these crazy things, being able to focus on the mental aspect and to be able to have the right tunnel vision to be able to go on, to be able to get ready for the season. But With that being said, obviously you guys know how difficult it is being a college athlete. That's through all sports, right? Through all sports, no matter if it's football, soccer, baseball, all these different things, managing your regular life, your family, your extra film work, your classes. Don't forget you have classes as well. So it all comes into play at the end of the day. But later on, you guys are going to be able to hear from someone who is actually going through it, as well as with me, that have a close relationship. I'm excited to have, Shemar James on the show, obviously a prominent leader on this team, somebody who has been exceptional on and off the field. And I'm excited for that. And we'll get back to you. Welcome back to Wingin with Wingo for episode 2. I'm excited to announce our special guest, Shemar James. He's got a busy schedule, but I finally was able to get him in. Shemar, you can introduce yourself.
How you guys doing? Shemar James, junior here, linebacker number 6 from Mobile, Alabama.
Bama boys. That's what he always says. We'll jump right into it. Shemar, you were, obviously a top prospect in high school, going through all the process, top linebacker. I know there was a lot of decision-making time when it came down to choosing the right program for you. We were going through a little bit of transition here at the University of Florida. What was that like for you on making your decision to finally make it at home here at UF?
I'll say just every time I came back to Gainesville, it felt like home. I wouldn't say that it was the coaching staff or a specific coach that drew me back here. I think it was just Gainesville itself, like just the environment here on game days, just the everyday living. It's just amazing and nothing can beat it.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of, hiccups when I know we were going through the coaching change, and then you had decommitted, you weren't unsure, but and that goes back to my decision as well. Understanding how much it really meant being in Gainesville and the tradition. I'd always say the tradition and the legacy here. So when you were going through this recruitment process, I know I talked to you a little bit about it before. The camps and stuff. You said you weren't a big camp guy.
Yeah.
Like going to you didn't go to any camp stuff or rivals or the open and stuff.
No, I didn't. I never thought I needed to, because going into my junior year, so 2020 around the springtime, COVID had hit. Mm-hmm. I got my first offer from Tennessee. Then after that, I believe Kansas, then Mississippi State. Then after that, I was kind of like, I feel like I don't need to go to the camp now. So, anymore. I guess my high school film speaks for itself. So, yeah, that's why I didn't go.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I definitely, I was a part of some of those camps, stuff like that. I thought they were always kind of pretty cool, but if you already got it going, no reason to do all the traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you did actually get here finally, your freshman year, obviously, big season for you, transitioning from high school to college. How was that, playing right away with Ventrell and Bernie? Talk a little bit about, just, having that relationship with Bernie and Ventrell, being on the field, and just that huge atmosphere transition from high school to college football.
I'll say that was a big transition. I would say just the speed of the game, from going from high school to college. And I would say Ventrell and Bernie, they helped me a lot along the way. Going from the first game Utah to kind of the last where we played Oregon State in the bowl game, I feel like I grew as a player, because of those two guys, and they just made me better as overall player as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool now, watching stuff in the league, seeing Ventrell playing for Jacksonville and Bernie out in Vegas. Got to keep him away from the slot machines, man. I'm pretty sure he's loving it out there. I know you get to talk to him a bunch, and I do as well. So, was there a welcome to football college moment for you when you got introduced to college football? Was there a moment for you?
Oh man, there was a few, but one that I remember very vividly was my first game against Utah in the Swamp. You know what I'm talking about. I believe it was the first kickoff. So I'm running down the field, and the whole week we were game planning to look at the backfield rover. So I'm looking, just oblivious to that there's 10 other guys on the field. So I'm looking, and as soon as I turn back, wham!
Gotcha.
Boom! I'm on my hands and knees. I blacked out. I'm like, I tried to get up. He pushed me back down to the ground. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I think everyone has a welcome to college football moment.
Yeah, that was mine, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say kickoff. Kickoffs are definitely the ones that the guys are just running full speed and just, man. That's it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So obviously, being, successful your freshman year, your sophomore year, doing everything right. Obviously, you're having your injury, right? Your knee injury during pregame of Georgia. Trying to play through it, right? Trying to go with the medical doctors and kind of put a brace on it and stuff like that, and then being out the rest of the season. What was that kind of recovery like with you, kind of just preparing yourself, understanding that, you were done for the season, but still being able to be a part of the team, right? Still being a leader, still being there every day, and then at the same time, focusing on yourself, making sure you're getting healthy for the next upcoming season.
I would say the recovery, it was tough. Not gonna lie, just mentally, because that's kind of like the first time I've had a serious injury like that. That was my first surgery I ever had. It was kind of, I would say, tough mentally. I kind of isolated myself a little bit, but I was stood around the team. So, like, when you guys were going to play, I'd be at home watching. And that got kind of tough. So, I had to find the right people, to talk to and the right people to bring it to my circle in order to get me through that phase. But once I got back to rolling, it was kind of like we're going. Like, I was around you guys more. I feel like that I consumed myself with too much football before I got hurt. And I kind of, like, lost my identity, like, outside of that. So, I had to find that again, and I kind of find that within you guys, like taking pride in like that brotherhood and like knowing that it's not just about football, but like the guys that you build that relationship with, and I feel like that's kind of what helped me get through that.
Yeah, and then you talk about it just being tough mentally. Obviously, the physical, like doing the rehab and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's just like, football obviously is very physical, but at the same time, I think it's, for me personally, I think it's almost more mental. Just going through that process, and then you talk about, reaching out to people and having those right people around you to get through it. And I think one of those is your mom, right? Someone who's always there for you. And you talked about a little bit about, her always being able to travel to other games, just building that, great relationship, having her always there for you. I know my mom is always traveling to all the games. Is always there for me through the ups and the downs, the good games, the bad games, and then obviously injuries and all these things. So how is that, just having her by your side every step of the way, traveling from Mobile down to Gainesville, the away games, everything like that, and then going through your injury as well?
Yeah, it means a lot. She's been there since I started playing this game. So it means a lot that she's been there every step of the way, supporting me through the ups, through the downs. No matter we win or we lose, she's still there, to cheer me up after the game, no matter the outcome. And I'll say, like, she's my number one fan. She's here in the interview. So, I say I love it. I love the support, and I love her to death.
No, that's amazing. All right, so a little bit, I know you got to do it this past, right after fall camp, I believe it was, SEC Media Days. Yeah. I want to ask a little bit about that. So I've only been on the private jet once, but I was told that when you go to the SEC Media Days, you get to fly on the private jet, kind of get up there, and it's a one-day thing. Is it you flew there that day and then flew back the same day?
Yeah, one day.
So what was that like, flying there and then you did the interviews and then came right back? Or?
Yeah, so we actually left that morning. Me, Coach Nate, Graham, and Montreux, we actually left that morning. And we got there around, I believe it was like later in the morning, like around 11 or 12, I believe, and we were there for almost like the whole day. And you kind of just go through a bunch of interviews, a bunch of questions and questionnaires. We had got a cowboy hat made. All three of us. It was pretty cool, but it was definitely an experience. I talked to Fox 10, the local channel news there in Mobile. I talked to those guys, and I also talked to a local radio station as well. So that was kind of fun, kind of connecting with them. They was with me since high school, and I would say it was just a great experience.
Yeah, no, that's definitely super cool. I know that all the guys that get to have that opportunity to fly out there on those nice jets, and you walk out on the tarmac and you just see all the different coaches' jets just lined up.
Man.
That's a pretty cool super thing.
Yeah.
So I was we had a lot of different changes, right? This upcoming season, we had the mics and the helmets. Right, we have the iPads on the sidelines. I think we get the 2-minute warning. The game goes out a little bit faster. We did get the 2-minute warning added. We have college football playoffs, adding to 12 teams. We added 2 teams in the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas. I was going to ask you about one, the iPads on the sideline. I touched on a little bit last episode with Austin, but for you as a linebacker perspective, obviously both of us, how I wanted to, let other people know how intentional that is and how much like that can benefit us going through kind of, the different fits and what that's like actually using the iPad on the sidelines.
Yeah, so using the iPad, we kind of used them in high school a little bit. So they just now getting introduced to college, but I say that it kind of allows you to make like in-game adjustments, like because your coach gets to see like what happened on every play of the game instead of waiting till after the game to kind of correct it or kind of predicting in halftime with the adjustments. It's kind of like you get an in-game, you can make an in-game adjustment because like coming off on the drive, you come back to the tablet, you'd be like, okay, well, he cut his split, so let's do this instead of this. So, it's very helpful, like, as a linebacker, because I know how to communicate it, and I know, like, when it needs to be communicated to either the D-line or the secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. And not having to wait till halftime to make those adjustments, being able to do it on the sideline, seeing what you did wrong, and then just being able to adjust right away. Whether or not it's changing the plays, changing, the different looks, the different shells that you have on the back end. I think it's going to be a super cool thing having in college football. I know you have it at the next level in the NFL, so that's definitely going to be something pretty cool. We talked a little bit earlier about being close with Ventrell and Bernie in the league. I know it's pretty cool for me too, knowing guys across the field from you, right? When you're playing these different teams and then watching them on TV. We know we got to see Coach Bateman. We got to see Jay Hill and Scooby. Yeah. I knew a bunch of the players from Miami. What is that like seeing your guys go out there and make plays from other teams, or watching Ventrell and Bernie making some plays on live television in the NFL? What's that like, just being like knowing that you have a close relationship with some of those guys?
Man, it's amazing to see. Going back to Ventrell and Bernie, I mean, like, I was just playing next to those guys, and I see those guys making plays in the league. So it's kind of like, man, if they can do it, we all can do it. So, and then, like you said, like playing against Scooby and Jay Hill, it was kind of bittersweet. They make a play, and I try not to cheer too loud, but I'd be like, dang. But in my head, I'm like, all right, then. But yeah, I mean,
still family.
Still family. But it was great seeing those guys after the game. Speaking of Coach Bateman, it was amazing to see him as well. And I just wish those guys the best, and I just thankful that I have a great group of brothers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the cool thing about playing the game of football. And my mom, I think I like to bring this up because my mom taught me something when I was really young. Never burn a bridge. And I think that goes into a lot of things because now with college football and the business and stuff and how it works is you never know if you have to transfer schools or in the NFL. You never know if that coach that you had is going to be a coach in the NFL. You never know if that coach that you had now at this school is going to be maybe a coach that you're transferring to in college football. You never know if someone that you were friends with or on your team is going to maybe be a CEO of a company or a financial advisor, someone that you might need to know in the future. So I think that's the cool thing about college football is just building, a resume of things as well as just building so many different relationships with guys that, in the future, not only will you have those guys in your wedding or, have that friendship for life, but maybe later on down the road you might need something from them. So it's always cool to, keep that on the positive side and, build those different kind of relationships. All right, we're going to get to something pretty cool. The rapid fire questions. I can't let you see them. I can't let you see them. We're going to get to the rapid fire questions. 9 questions brought to you by Florida Victorious with Shemar James. Let's do it. 90 seconds on the clock. Yeah. All right, ready. Favorite linebacker in the NFL?
Patrick Queen.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say it so quick. I knew it. All right, your most disliked college football team that you don't like playing?
Oh, man.
Or rivalry that is just...
Georgia.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right, what's your favorite stadium to play in? Besides in the swamp. Besides in the swamp.
Oh, man. I like Tennessee. What is it, Neyland?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neyland.
Tennessee.
Neyland Stadium.
Yeah. When they have all the checkerboards and all that kind of cool stuff.
That was terrible.
All right, you say you're a chef. Your best home-cooked meal that you can make for anybody?
Probably some shrimp Alfredo.
Shrimp Alfredo.
Shrimp Alfredo.
I don't know if I'll try it. All right, pregame song. You're walking down Gator Walk. You come out to the field for the first time. What do you got going in your headphones?
5 a.m. in Philly by Meek Mill.
Meek Mill.
Meek Mill, yeah.
Travel to anywhere in the country. You get your week off from football. You can go anywhere for free. Where would it be?
Yeah. I'll say Cancun.
Cancun.
Yeah, I'll go Cancun.
Gets a little crazy over there.
Yeah.
All right. Time to shoot your shot. Your celebrity crush. Your whole life. Your celebrity crush, if there's anybody in the world you could talk to, who would it be?
It's an unknown celebrity, but her name's like Erica Lewis or something like that.
Erica Lewis. I don't know if I know. I thought you were gonna say Beyonce or something. Nah. All right, you're from Mobile.
Yeah.
You always say the Bama Boys.
Yeah.
What's the capital of Mobile?
Bro, there is no capital of Mobile.
There is a capital of Mobile. Montgomery.
Hold on, what?
You're from Alabama.
Capital of Mobile?
The capital of Alabama.
Oh, look.
I messed it up.
Hey,
capital of Alabama.
Montgomery.
All right, and then if you didn't play football, what other sport you think you'd play?
Besides basketball, I don't No, probably soccer.
Soccer?
No.
That's a lot of running.
Yeah, I'm not that. I don't know. I'll probably go play basketball. I'll probably go hoop or something.
Go play basketball?
Yeah. Be like
Point guard?
LeBron wingman or something.
LeBron's
like
wingman?
that. Yeah.
All right, I do this with all the guys.
Oh, man.
It's now your turn. You got 30 seconds to draw your best Gator logo without looking at a picture, without looking at anything. 30 seconds on the clock, drawing your best Gator logo.
Oh,
let's do it.
Start on me?
Yep, on you.
All right, here we go.
No looking, just off the top of your head. What does a Gator logo look like? I feel like I do this every time, and I couldn't even probably do it. I'm not the best drawer. Yeah, me either. We did it last week with Austin. Austin Barber. His wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not a drawer at all. Hold on. How many seconds I got left?
5 seconds.
Whoa. All right.
All right, show it up to the screen. You gotta show what you got.
I'm not a. All right, so this the Gator. I know y'all can. It look like a salamander or something. This a Gator and the outlining of the orange and blue on there.
It's pretty good. Yeah. We'll let it slide this time. We'll stick to the cooking or playing basketball because that drawing's not for you.
Yeah, that's not for you. Here you
go. Once again, thank you again. Obviously, this wouldn't be possible without Florida Victorious, who helps set this up, who helps us use student athletes to have our voice through our perspective, our view, be able to have guys like Shemar James on and just talk about a little bit of our journey, about what we do. I'm excited for the future episodes, having not just football players on, having a bunch of other different sports and possibly even some past Gators.